pleasure to have you on. Tell the world who you are and what you do.
All right, so I'm Tony Clark. I'm the urban handler. That's my the urban.handler on Instagram. Basically, I do obedience with I train obedience with dogs. I just got one of my dogs certified in narcotics odor detection. And I just recently purchased quite a few Patterdales Terriers that I'm going to try to do odor detection with, like maybe narcotics, guns, and bed bugs.
Okay, that's neat. Now, you're a detective for the city of Baltimore. How long have you been doing that?
So I've been doing that for 22 years. I started out in '02, at the end of '02, so it was almost 22 years completed. Got a couple more months to go. I've done narcotics. I've done undercover narcotics, on some occasions. I did robbery detection, and also right now I can't really talk about the unit that I'm in now. It's kind of like a secret squirrel kind of unit, so I don't want to get in trouble. So
no, I got you.
I'm gonna leave that one out of it.
I understand. So, are you breeding as well?
So, talking to Eric Abbott from Total Performance Canine, he's a breeder of Patterdales and Fell Terriers, and talking to Todd Fulford and Brandon Fulford of Dead Game Patterdale Terriers. I got set up with quite a few dogs from them, and I got a couple dogs that like have unknown pedigrees, but they seem like they're gonna work out. I talked to them, and they kind of coaching me through everything. They saying there's a couple of things I need to do before I breed. They want to make sure that the dogs work properly, that they know how to hunt. And just keep them working. Let them satisfy their thirst.
Right. So, when you do obedience, have you done any decoy work, any kind of protection work?
So now, about 20 years ago, right after I became a police officer, I did do some decoy work. I did wear the suit. I didn't go through any training. I was basically like the young dumb guy, the young dumb guy that was in the group. And they said, "Hey, throw this suit on," because all the older guys, they were kind of too old, and they didn't have the stamina to get into the suit. So I took some bites from like Connie Corsos, Rottweilers, Pits, German Shepherds, all different types of big dogs.
So, when it comes to the Patterdale doing scent work, that's pretty impressive. What are some of the things that you look for in a Patterdale to know whether or not they have what it takes to do that work?
So really, to be honest with you, when I look at Patterdales and odor detection, what I look at is, does the dog have, like good food drive or ball drive or prey drive, right? If they have any one of those, or if they have a combination of all three, then you can basically work them. I got this one puppy. He's just super smart, but he's super gamey. Like, he's like, anything that moves, he's biting it. He will not let go. You have to kind of choke him off of it. This dog he's amazing. I got another little dog from Dead Game. Both of these dogs are from Dead Game. And then I got one male that's from Total Performance Canine, and he's a really good dog too. And all three of these dogs are like super easy because one, they don't get rattled. See, the thing is, when you do odor detection, you got to have a dog that's not going to get rattled because they hear loud noise, or because they see something move, or because somebody starts screaming or yelling, or babies crying, or any dirt bikes driving by. They have to be totally focused on the job. They can't have any type of nerve issues. Now, when I'm saying, I'm talking about these dogs that's like 5 to 10 months old, and they're not showing any real signs of weakness. You know what I mean? Like, whereas though I had Malinois, I raised Malinois up too. Didn't breed them. I got them. It was really weird. I got them from an Amish kid. He was about 18, and I got these 3 Malinois from all sisters, and they all 3 are amazing. They're all 3 of them are with other trainers now. I trained them up and you know, end up selling them to 3 different dog trainers, and the dogs are great. You know, but the thing is with like Malinois compared to Patterdales is that Malinois go through a nervous stage, a couple of them, as they're getting older, like, you know, from puppyhood up until they become adults. And if you don't raise them right, they could, you know, you can ruin them. Whereas though the Patterdale, long as you don't hit them, you can maybe yell at them. They're not real sensitive, but you can't hit them. You can't, like, you know, you can scruff them, but if you hit them, you would lose a lot of trust with them, and they won't deal with you. They'll start getting head shy, or they'll like try to stay away from you. So you don't want to like be putting your hands on those type of dogs. But if you encourage them, or like even if you yell at them, these dogs don't get afraid of anything if you have the right ones, if they bred properly.
So basically, you're talking like, you know, the dog's tearing something up of yours, and you go smack them on the nose or on the butt or whatever. So you're saying you want to stay away from that with those kind of dogs.
Yeah, you want to stay away from that, from this type of breed, because they're super. So I got this one puppy. It's a female. I named her Poison. So she'll be full for Poison of day game Patterdale Terriers, and she's the sweetest dog. If I sent you pictures of her, she looked like a Disney character, right? And you would be like, oh man, this dog ain't gonna be nothing. And then for a while I was thinking like, man, I don't know about this dog, you know, this puppy. But I trust Brandon and I trust Mr. Todd, right? And you know, talking to Eric, he respects them too. They have like a good relationship with each other. And so I was like, you know, I don't know. Let me see. I just took it to the pet store. I said, let me take it to the pet store and let her see something. Let me, maybe a rat or a guinea pig or something, see how she react. Oh man, she saw these guinea pigs through the glass and tried to bite through the glass, tried to scratch the glass up. And I said, even though she couldn't get to him, you could see the look in her eyes change from this sweet little puppy to a predator. And it was amazing to just see that. So I was like, okay, she might be worth something. So now, like this weekend, I'm gonna go. You know, we're gonna probably get a few rats. You know, put them in a cage or something, and let them bay at them. See what they'll do. I just want to see what their reaction will be. You know.
So when it comes to ratting work and things like that, is there anything outside of, you know, your regular rabies vaccination and things like that that you got to do to prepare for them to keep them safe in these events?
So what I do is I always go, when I go to the vet, I tell them, give me every shot you can give them. Distemper, rabies, kennel cough, any shot. I mean, flu, because, you know, they got the flu shot for them now. I say give me everything, because you just don't know. I've had a dog probably about 6-7 years ago end up getting parvo because one of the neighbors up the street let their dog go. Didn't want him no more. I guess they realized he was sick, and he got in my yard and got two of my dogs sick. And I had a oh man, it was a tricolor pit bull. I'm talking about American Pit Bull Terrier. You don't ever see tricolor American Pit Bull Terriers, and I had one, and he got my dog sick, and my dog was like super muscular. He was a really good looking dog, and the next thing you know, that parvo, man, he was crapping blood. I had to take him to the vet. They was talking about putting him down. I said, look, man, if you could just give me the medicine, I'll take him home and treat him myself, because I didn't have $5,000 to give to them, to take care of the dog. So I said, how much would you, let me, how much would you charge me for the medicine? And they said, I think they said like it was like $500 or $600. And I took him home. I got him back. I came home one day. I thought he was dead. They gave me that IV and all that type of stuff. But next thing you know, he got back to health, but I could never get that muscle back on him. After he caught parvo, I could never get him back right again.
Yeah, I had a Gotti line dog, Debo, and I kept one of his daughters. And somehow or another, even though I vaccinated her, she ended up with parvo. And so I quarantined her. There was this little fenced area in my yard with a shed. So I quarantined her there, and I kept trying to just feed her Pedialyte and stuff like that. And the one day, you know, my mom even went so far as to bring me over her shovel, because I was like, damn, she's going to die. I'm going to have to bury her. And one day, man, I hear barking coming from that area. She's at the fence trying to get at a damn cat. And I was like, holy shit, she lived. Like, it stunted her height growth, I will say that. She ended up being a short dog. But, I mean, her stature was fine. It was just she didn't grow as tall as she would have.
Right.
But let me ask you this. When it comes to the Patterdale, they're a very gritty dog. And definitely game when it comes to hunting. But do they have a high level of dog aggression?
Some of them do. Now, some of them do, and because it's in certain parts of in the United States, what I've been told, I haven't witnessed any of this, but I've been told that some people do roll them. Some people will fight Patterdales, but none of the people that I know do it. And definitely I can't. I wouldn't be out there doing. From the job that I have, but I have heard that people like in the Midwest may roll some dogs or whatever. So some of them are aggressive, but you got to think too that some of them are just so predatory and so prey driven that anything that moves, they'll go after it. So sometimes it's not that they're actually dog aggressive. It's just that their predatory instincts just kick in on anything that moves. Like I said, the one puppy I got, his name is Rage, and he shows aggression towards everything, but he won't go after children. He won't go after adults. He doesn't go after dogs unless they mess with him. Like my 130-pound Anatolian Shepherd, the first day I brought him home, man, he was I guess because he was a little intimidated by how big he was, and I think he was like 8 or 9 weeks when I brought him home, maybe 10 weeks, and he had my Anatolian Shepherd backing up because he knows how big he is, and he knows he's not supposed to hurt puppies. But this puppy was like all up in his grill, and it was so funny to see. I think I don't know if I might have recorded it, but it was so funny to watch. But some of them can be. I do have a male. He's kind of aggressive, but not like he's just trying to dominate. He just wants to dominate, and that's the thing with them too. One dog might put their paw on another dog's back or try to raise his head over another dog's head, and then that could start a fight. But with them, long as you get in between them, scruff one of them, scruff whoever's starting it, and let them know that that's not acceptable. Most of the time, they won't. You ain't got to worry about them because you want to be able to go out with your friends and your buddies to go rat hunting. If it's 5 or 6 of y'all, you go rat hunting. I just went 2 days ago, my first time going rat hunting. Me and my dog didn't catch anything because it was only 2 of us, and we went kind of early. Normally they say you want to go after like 10 or 11 o'clock to go hunt rats, and it was me and another guy. He had a Karen Terrier, and his dog caught 2, but we literally was out there an hour and a half. We only saw like 5 rats.
Okay. Well, what is for your Patterdales? Are they fully grown now?
So I have 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have three adults. I have three adults. Actually, two adults. I got one female that she's about 10 or 11 months, and then I got a male that's 10 months old,
Okay.
and then the rest of them are like between 4 and 6 months old. So my thing was, see, a lot of people think that you can't work dogs if you have too many of them. I have 11 dogs.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, what I do is the dogs like my German Shepherd. She's totally trained, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the next dog I work on is my next Shepherd, which is he's like a triple herder. He's a Belgian, German, and Dutch. So what I do is I'll start working on him, then I'll work on him for a couple months, and then I get him certified. And then what I'll do is I'll start working on each dog depending on their age and figure out what they're good at. Will this dog be a rat hunter? Will this dog do odor detection? Will a dog, be able to do both? And some dogs I can see I know some will be able to do both. Some might just be a rat hunter. Some might just be odor detection. The thing is with a lot of the Patterdale people, right? You got it's almost like Democrats and Republicans, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got some that's far right and you got some that's far left. And the guys that's far right, if your dog can't kill a rat or can't go in a hole and stay there until he dug to and hold a raccoon or a groundhog, they want you to call them. And then you got the pet people side that, they like, why do you have that big collar on them? What kind of collar is that? Why you have an e-collar on them? Why do you got them back tied to this? And it's like the total opposite, like, the right side don't really like the left side. And it's rarely do you ever see in the Patterdale community do you see somebody in the middle. Right, it's either they really far right or really far left on it, and I'm kind of in the middle because I want the dog to be super game. I want the dog to be super game because the more game, the more hard they are. I don't really need them to think too much long as they work hard. If they work hard is easy. But then you got some dogs that are like, they call them mixers, right? Like if you hunt one of them, they might, instead of them going straight for the straight for whatever they can on a raccoon, they'll move a certain way or back up, they'll bay and then come in and attack and all that type of stuff. That mean they kind of smart. They're not just going to go in there and die, right? They'll think of ways to get the job done with taking less damage. So, but if you can get a dog like that can also think too, then you really working with something. So it just really all depends. I just feel like the Patterdale fits odor detection because one, they're easy to pick up. You can put them on top of things. You can put them in things, right?
Mm.
If I wanted to do bed bugs, or if I wanted to do, like let's say I did narcotic searches inside of a halfway house or something, they look less aggressive. People won't be afraid of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might even get more business because of the dog being small and less, looking less aggressive. It just all depends on, who you're dealing with.
That's a good point, actually. That's genius. So, what I was going to ask you, based on how old they were, is what is the general weight, the ideal weight for your Patterdales at full maturity?
With me, it doesn't even matter because, like I said, me personally, I'm going to do rats and I'm going to do odor detection. So I'm not really. I already talked to all the breeders and stuff that that I deal with. I tell them straight up, like, I'm not an avid hunter. I really don't know nothing about hunting. I don't know how to dig no holes or nothing like that. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and try to BS you and say just so I can get a dog for you. I'm gonna tell you straight up what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna do odor detection. I might do some rat hunting here and there. If I can get some work done and getting paid for it, I'll probably try to work it in a little bit more, but my focus is really trying to do odor detection. But even though you only doing odor detection, your dog has to have nerves of steel. Like, I've seen a lot of pit bulls. Now, I ain't even gonna say pit bulls. Let me not even say that. Real American pit bull terriers, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about these, like, bully dogs that been mixed with pit bull, and then they've been mixed with this other type of bully dog, and they like all scatterbred and everything. They have the worst nerves, right? Some of them you can't even put into a crate. They see the darkness inside of a crate, they won't even go inside of a crate, because they just not bred right. Whereas though my Patterdales, man, I had Patterdales, like, they'll just go inside of anything. They'll go inside of a closet. They'll go inside the trunk of your car. They'll dig holes and hide under your deck. It's like they're not afraid of really anything. It's kind of to a fault, because they so small, but they so brave at the same time. They can get themselves into big trouble. So you gotta, like, if you do get a Patterdale, you really have to watch how they are, because you got some are more aggressive than others and everything. But me personally, if you say size, let me go back to what you asked me originally. Size, I would say I would like 15 to 25 pounds. If a lot of guys do hunting at 10 or 11 pounds, and they got real game dogs or real smart dogs that know how to handle themselves. But I would say 15 to 25 pounds, or would be a good range for me.
Okay. Now, how many dogs do you have total right now?
So I have 11 dogs total, and just the funny thing, I live in, like, not a duplex, but it's like a semi-detached, right? So I'm at the end of the row, and we in row homes, and when I come home, the dogs bark, and they can hear me when I set my alarm on my car, to shut the doors, and then they hear the keys, and they just start going crazy, right? So you would think my neighbors would hate me, but they don't, because when I come in there, all I gotta do is say shh, right? And all the dogs are quiet except for this one. His name is Hellboy, the little red dwarf-looking Patterdale I got. He's the only one that'll keep barking. But the rest of them, they'll be quiet. I don't have to yell. They know if they don't be quiet, I'll just go upstairs and I won't feed them until later. So then they shut up. Right. And then next thing you know, they quiet and everything. But I live in literally like row homes, and I know some of my buddies. They live out in the country, and he got to go to court and all types of stuff to deal with, like, his neighbors and stuff. And they got acres, and I live in a city, and I'm around. We got 30, 40 houses on the block, and I don't get no complaints. And knock on wood.
So you mentioned the Patterdales, you mentioned the Anatolian Shepherd. What other kind of dogs do you have?
So, like I said, I have the Patterdales, I have the Anatolian Shepherd, I have like a East German Shepherd, like a Czech, like actually a Czech dog. She's super smart. She can do anything you want her to do, she can do it. And then I got like I said, I got the triple herder. He has I don't know the percentage, but he has German Shepherd, Dutch, and Malinois on him. And you teach that dog something once. I taught him a gun odor, black powder, once. We went out once or twice, and I showed him how to do, like, search, outer perimeters of cars, and how to do, like, interior searches and field searches. And just a couple times he learned it. And let me tell you, these two dogs came from Frontline Canine in Westminster, Maryland, by a guy named Mike Bogos. He's one of my he's one of my mentors in odor detection and bite work and all that type of stuff. And this guy is amazing. He's prior military. He retired from the United States Army, and he did 5 years for the Israeli Army. And this guy knows it. I'm talking about he slept. I gotta get you to interview this guy, man. He slept in his car for 9 months while he went to dog school training. To be a master dog trainer. This guy is for real.
So, when it comes to, well, I would say shepherds and Malinois, but all dogs, do you think, based on breed, that dogs are naturally protective, or do you think that has to be instilled, or does that depend on the dog?
So really, it's all of that. It's everything. So you can get the best bred dog. You get the best bred dog, and if you raise it wrong, you can ruin it. Right? If you too hard on the dog, or if you too weak, right? You want to be firm with a dog, but if you too hard on the dog, and the dog is already like in defense, especially like Connie Corsos and like Prusses and all those type of dogs, like you can get the right bred dog, but if you give it to the wrong person, the dog is going to be worthless. The dog is going to be absolutely shit. Right, but you can take a medium dog that really wasn't worth that much, and you could build the dog up, but you got to be dedicated to it. You can't half-ass it. You got to really put all yourself into it. Like when I was training my female German Shepherd Leica, she's canine Leica now, but when I was training her up, I was doing all obedience with her, and I'm talking about we was doing it for hours. And then, I started, going on YouTube, and I realized that I was training too hard with a 4-month-old puppy. Like, I mean, we was out there hours. We was training in the house. I was training in the car. We were training everywhere. I took her everywhere with me. And then she got so dependent on me that when we went to go do bite work, guess what she did? Every time the guy tried to wave the leather rag in her face, she turned and looked at me. She was too handler dependent. I almost ruined her, right? Because all I knew was obedience. So then once I got with Mike Bogo, he said, don't do no more obedience. Just do, but she was already basically fully obedience trained at 6 months. So I just started doing more shit away from me. All my commands was away from me after that. And then I let other people handle the dog. I let other people touch the dog, agitate and all that type of stuff. And then she was fine. And then she was good, but like I said, it depends on, it really depends on, I'm not going to say the pedigree, but it kind of does. And then it really depends on the breeder you got them from. Do they really know what they breed, and do they really know what they have in their possession, right? And then the other thing is you have 10 dogs, you might only have 5 dogs that's good out of that litter. But the last couple of litters Mike Bogle had with his Dutch Shepherds and his German Shepherds, I'm going to say he was like spot on. I ain't going to say, I don't want to lie and say 100%, but he had some I'm going to say high 80s, 90% of his litters was fucking excellent.
Here's an interesting question, and this is a first, but I kind of wanted to start asking guys this. Based on your opinion and your experience, especially in the police force, do you think dogs can sense evil?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, now this is the thing, right? Sometimes, now if you got a weak dog, sometimes weak dogs will be afraid of a confident man Like if like some dogs, cause I do well. I did boarding too, right? I boarded dogs for people while they went on vacation and make an extra couple of dollars or whatever. But if you had a weak dog, and it could be a pit bull, it could be a Rottweiler, it could be a German Shepherd. If the dog can sense that you don't have no fear, but you're not aggressive, they'll back down to you, and then the owners will think that. Ain't like, oh, why is the dog backing down? Why doesn't he like you? He likes everybody else. It's just that he sees the confidence in me that I'm not afraid of him at all. Certain people, when they get around dogs, they hesitate, they tiptoe, they back up. You know, they look the dogs in the eyes. When I come up to you, I won't look your dog in the eye. I'll act like your dog doesn't even exist. Because you gotta think, in my past, I done dealt with, like, I had a South American honey badger. We had one of those that we kept in Pennsylvania, and that thing was crazy. Yeah, that animal was crazy. And then, like, I dealt with handled venomous snakes before. So, like, getting a bite from a dog doesn't really worry me that much unless it's like a real dog. Like, I'm talking about like a real Dutch Shepherd, a real Rottweiler, a real Connie Corso, a Press, or a Band dog. Then those are the dogs that, but yeah, they can definitely sense danger. They can sense fear. They can sense evil, because they know, like, if you jump out on one of them and you really got the intent to do something, if they have it in them, they'll either attack or they'll run, or freeze or whatever. So it just all depends.
Right. So while we were on the topic of venomous snakes, why don't you tell us a little more about how you got involved in reptiles and what was that like?
All right. So I got involved in reptiles when I was a very young kid. I was probably about 5 or 6. I kept begging my dad for a dog. I didn't get in the dog till I was 21. My parents wouldn't let me have a dog. So that's why I kind of went dog crazy. But I was 5 years old. My dad let me get I got a garter snake. He bought a garter snake from me. I had one of those, and then the next thing you know, I had an iguana, and the next thing you know, it went from iguanas, and then I was like 13, and I was saving up all my lunch money, and then I was going to the pet stores, and then I was just buying up. I had rock pythons. By the time I was 13, 14, I probably had 20 snakes in my basement, and it was like Burmese pythons, rock pythons, ball pythons, Chinese garter snakes, king snakes, corn snakes, Nile monitors, Savannah monitors. I had just about anything you could get legally in the United States.
So, are you still into reptiles now?
No, so my mom passed away in April of 2022, and I had a full-blown reptile business. Like, it was really good, right? I was shipping all across the country except for Hawaii and Puerto Rico, and Alaska. I shipped all over the country. I had 150 5-star reviews. I wasn't a breeder, I was a broker. So what a broker does, they will buy your whole collection. So, like, let's say me and one of my buddies noticed that you selling 65 ball pythons, and you got like all different kinds. You got like the piebalds, you got the clowns, and you got all these different subs, different genetics and everything, right? Then what we would do is we would offer you a certain amount of money, and then, we would buy, like, let's say you had 60 snakes and we bought them for $8,000. We would buy the snakes, and then we would divvy them up, and we would try to even them out as much as possible. And he was a breeder, I wasn't. So what I would do is I would take mines and I would just post them, and then people would buy them from me, and I would just ship them all. Like, I would ship them across the country, and I did that with like numerous clutches. Like I had a guy, all he did was breed retics and Burmese pythons, and he would have like 41 babies, like, and they would come out like, you would have albinos, and you would have all these different like color genetics with the retics and the Burmese pythons, and then I would just buy the whole clutch. And because he didn't want to deal with the public, I could buy 41 snakes for like 4,100, and then next thing you know, you could triple it. It was crazy. Yeah.
Wow. So back to dogs. What's your feeding regimen look like?
Okay, so I can tell you. So I got two red dogs, right? Which are chocolate dogs. Two chocolate Patterdales. One is a pup, real small pup. One is probably like a year and a half, 2 years old, maybe 2.5. I don't really know because I don't really have that much information on them. But these two, I feed them pork. I feed them and I feed them beef. I don't feed them chicken because I realized that a lot of these red Patterdales or chocolate Patterdales they have an actual chicken fat allergy, right? So to defeat that, what I would do is I can feed them a lot of stuff from the chicken, but you can't feed them like the drumsticks and the leg quarters and all that type of stuff. So, I'll give them like chicken hearts. They'll get chicken gizzards. But in particular with those dogs, I'll get like pork ribs or pigtails. I'll get some, like I said, I'll throw some chicken hearts in there, chicken gizzards. I'll also do this stuff called Comega. It has all the triple fatty acids in it. It has 95% fat, and it's really good for it got coconut oil in it as well, and it's really good for the dog's coat. It's really good for everything, and they even make the dog smell better. Their coat will be shining, like, and I'll give them like, how you get like NyQuil and you get like the medicine cap that comes off, you fill the medicine up. That cap, that's what I'll give to each dog, except for my Anatolian Shepherd. He gets like four of those caps. He'll get not three drumsticks. He'll get 3 leg quarters, or he'll get like 4 or 5 drumsticks a day. With all the other stuff I give, I also give diatomaceous earth. Food grade diatomaceous earth will kill worms. It'll kill all types of bacteria that's in your dog's gut and digestion. You just sprinkle that on the food too. You got to do it 30 days straight for it to really, really work. But you'll notice that the dog's poop will never be soft if you give them diatomaceous earth. Also, I give them what is that? Apple cider vinegar. I give them apple cider vinegar for the to kill yeast. So if your dog ever gets like a yeast infection, or they get like or they got bad gut health, apple cider vinegar is good. You can get it in a pill form, powder form, or like liquid. Another thing I also put in there is garlic, which keeps away fleas and ticks. You don't want to give them whole garlic. You want it to be like, I would rather you give it to them like a powder form, and you just mix it into their food, or you can mix it into their food, and that's what it normally looks like. Now, my black dogs, my Anatolian Shepherd and my German Shepherds, they get chicken. They all get chicken. So around here, I can get 20 pounds of drumsticks for like $11. So to feed 11 dogs every month, it costs me $240 a month.
Nice. So, what kind of setup do you have, using kennels, chain spaces, something like that?
So what I do is because when you have working dogs, and you let them out, if you keep them out all day, they're not going to be a very good working dog. Some of them, right? Because they'll exert all their energy. If it'll be hard to take them to use the energy that they got because they'll get tired or they'll be thirsty. And that was proof that the other day when I took my red boy out, I had him out a little bit too long before we went rat hunting, and he was constantly thirsty, and so I keep him basically in crates until I come home, and then I do dogs all day. Like I get off of work at like 11:30, I get home at 12, and I'm dogs all day until 12 o'clock, probably 11 to 12 o'clock at night, and then I go to work, and then I come home and I do it all over again. I do it every day. I haven't been on a vacation in 4 years, so. So basically, so crates, and then this the funny thing, the Patterdales, I keep them in rabbit cages. I keep them in rabbit cages with the drop pans, and it works perfect because they're not heavy, so they're not really hurting their paws. And at nighttime, I'll go to this store called Dollar Tree, and I'll just go get some Dollar Tree little blankets, and I'll just put the blankets in there at nighttime, and so they can sleep. And then once the sun comes up, or whenever I get home from work, or if my son deals with them, we'll take the blankets out, and then they'll just be out in the cage. But they get a lot of exercise because we doing tug all the time. I got them chasing stuff, and really the thing with dogs, more so than actually exercising them, is doing brain games. Doing the odor detection makes them think. So when you make a dog think, you actually make them more tired thinking than you do making them run. Now, if you really want a dog to be tired out and you really want the dog to be worked, you could do a flirt pole. So if you do 5-10 minutes of flirt pole work and keep changing the direction and have them tugging, and then they let go, and then you take it from them and make them chase it again, you do that for 5-10 minutes a day. I was doing that with Malinois, and they were fine. Like my Malinois were crazy, but if you took them out and you worked them with the flirt pole or back tied them and did bike work with them and all that type of stuff, man, they were tired. They would be tired for Malinois not gonna be tired that long, but they'll be tired for an hour or two, and it would help them out, and then. Once they went back and got crated for an hour and they calmed down, they cooled down, then you could let them back out in the backyard and then, run around and play and stuff.
So is there any other breeds you're interested in getting your hands on at this point?
Maybe a true Kangal. But that would be years down the line. Anatolian Shepherds and Kangals really come from the same bloodline. If you do DNA, they can't even tell them apart. They can't even tell. Now, people, this is going to probably piss a lot of people off, but Embark can't even tell the two breeds apart. Right. Unless they never truly got, DNA tested Kangal from Turkey. You know what I mean? Maybe that could be the reason why, but with the the Kangal looks a little bit more thicker. They got a broader head. The Anatolian Shepherd's a little bit more taller, and they got a better gait. You know what I mean? I think they can. They probably can run just as long as each other, but I feel the Anatolian Shepherd might be a little bit faster, might have more stamina.
I gotcha. So, what, in your mind's eye, does the future look like? What is your plan? What's your vision?
My vision is to have the best Patterdales on the East Coast. What I want to do is I want to have Patterdales that can do everything, just like a lot of the pit bull breeders, the old game dog breeders, and some of the new guys that's breeding. I want the Patterdale to be able to do everything, just like the American Pit Bull Terrier. Right? We know they can't whoop them, but I heard from Old School what he said on the Mr. Old School on your last podcast with him. They can do everything, but you know, the Patterdale can't whip everybody, but you know, they'll believe they can. So
Right.
that's really what I want. I want to have a dog that can do odor detection. I don't care if the dog's 11 pounds. If the dog has some type of man aggression and I can feed off of it, and they'll do bite work, I'll do bite work with them. If I figure a dog that'll pull, if I, you know, like one of my buddies, he bought a dog from Mr. Forfeit and did game, and the dog is already at 5.5 months already climbing trees. So it's like, if I can get a real versatile dog to do everything, like, you know, even go in the hole, you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Like, I have to figure out, my plan is to figure out a way to simulate what the old game hunters are doing with their dogs by putting them in a hole. You know, to simulate that, you know, you would have to have like you might have to trap an animal and actually simulate them staying in the hole until, you know, for like an hour, 45 minutes or whatever, or 2 hours, and then pull them out. You know what I mean? Like, because your Patterdales have to have that much dedication to want to stay in the hole, want to stay in the, you know, the fight, or, you know, just to do whatever job you got for them. You want them to stay and doing it until you tell them it's okay to stop. And what I'm trying to tell you is that these Patterdale breeders from Europe and over here, these guys are amazing, because I'm from the city, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't know if I can sit and dig up a dog for 5 hours. Or like, you know, stay out there all night long, you know, 10 hours, 12 hours, you know, to dig up a dog, because I'm like super busy and I got like a lot of stuff going on. So I know that ain't the type of life for me. But some of these guys, they love it, and they made some of the best dogs in the world probably because of that.